Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. More adoption for cryptocurrency in Europe. This one has to do with the Bank of Spain and a euro-backed stablecoin that has been approved. So stablecoins and CBDC trials are becoming more popular in Europe. As we know, we've been hearing about more and more development of stablecoins in Europe. Spanish central bank, though, the Banco de España, approved a pilot program on January the 19th that would issue digital tokens tied to the euro. So Spain, the latest in a series of countries now that are looking to digitize the euro and work with central bank digital currencies provided on the blockchain. Money, a regulated fintech business payment solution, is leading the charge on this initiative. Furthermore, they will provide customers the ability to produce their own stable euro currency for various uses. So it looks as though it'll be called the EURM token, or the EURM, and that will be produced using Ethereum and Polygon blockchain technology. Backed by actual euros, this will be issued using deposits made by users. Each user has to sign up for a money platform, and that will be limited to issuing a maximum of 10 EURM during the test. This is written very, very poorly. I do apologize if I keep stumbling. Moreover, there are about 57 million active phone lines in Spain. The test may include the distribution of up to 570 million euro. Money will be in charge of the two accounts at BBVA and CaixaBank, which I believe is a Ripple partner, if I'm not mistaken, where this money would be kept. So interesting news coming out of Spain, guys. I don't understand why they're talking about the phone lines. I guess they might be distributing these via cell phones as part of its efforts to modernize the Eurozone's payment system. Money is highlighting its digital euro stablecoin, which promises to increase the speed of payments while decreasing the operating expenses associated with them. So, streamlining the process, obviously. All these countries have all their own, series of unique challenges. So they're looking for solutions, and this one is going to be provided on the Ethereum blockchain and Polygon blockchains, respectively. Anyway, interesting news coming from Spain. Wanted to thank Michael for posting that. DJ Peter Vass here also posting this. So another European country, guys, going cashless and moving towards central bank digital currencies. So right down here, the Scandinavian nation has been working on central bank digital currency since 2016. So this is nothing new for Norway. Major bank in the countries have refused cash payments. Norway, along with Israel and Sweden, are part of a project called Project Icebreaker, and they started that in late 2022. Every country worldwide is trying to implement central bank digital currencies as a mode to adopt cryptocurrency. The Scandinavian nation, Norway, is also entering the race. However, the small Nordic country does not stand tall in the list of global crypto providers. Even with its 22 blockchain solution providers, the country has been working on its CBDC again since 2016. And guys, here is a tweet from Enyo here. Enyo the King on Twitter. Going cashless, Norway's digital currency project raises privacy questions. At this point, the test network for the Norwegian central bank digital currency uses not the public Ethereum ecosystem, but a private version of the enterprise blockchain hyperledger Besu. So interesting. I mean, there has been a huge push towards a cashless society in Norway and Sweden. Even my wife is from Sweden, and we went back there in 2016. Went to what was like a flea market. Her cousin took us to this flea market to look at old antique stuff, and my wife saw something she liked. She wanted to purchase it, and it was funny because they just would not take cash even as early as 2016, and they used this Swish app, I believe it's called. I know I've talked about this on this channel in the past. I think it's called the Swish app. To use for payments, and it was like a PayPal thing, but everybody was on it. Nobody used cash, and again, this was 7 years ago. So, this is nothing new for Scandinavian countries. I feel like a CBDC is likely to be part of the landscape in Norway and Sweden and Finland, probably sooner rather than later compared to other European countries, and certainly before the United States. So an interesting trend towards cashless, but Norway, Sweden, already a very cashless society, so it only makes sense that these guys would move in that direction first. Wanted to thank DJ Peter Vass for pointing that out. Along with CBDC implementation, we're obviously going to need robust payment systems, and this is why developers over there at Ripple and other projects developing on the XRPL are continuously making advancements. So just wanted to talk a little bit about this. XRPL may receive some major new tweaks directed at escrow and payment channels specifically, guys. So the new amendment code is the XLS34D, and it was proposed for implementation on the XRP ledger by contributor Dennis Angel. According to the text of the proposal, it involves making changes to the ecosystem's structural facilities in order to enhance the capabilities of non-XRP native XRPL assets. So the other tokens that the XRPL does support. So in particular, the innovation would make it possible to use escrow accounts for all assets built on the ecosystem. In other words, a project team would be able to lock tokens in a trust line balance and thus regulate its supply. Also, interestingly, the amendment should allow token issuers to retain authorization and to freeze control over their issued tokens, even when they are locked into instruments. So an interesting new option here that is going to be likely be voted on in the near future. Don't know how that process works, if they have to vet it first and how long it takes for the community to vote. In addition to escrow opportunities, the amendment also opens up greater opportunities for the use of native assets in the XRPL payment channels as well. The authors have also not forgotten the efficiency of the XRP ledger, saying that XLS34D should help avoid unnecessary multiplication of entities as well as computational burden. So, I mean, I leave the tech stuff up to the techies. Of course, voting on these amendments is critical, and Mark Phillips points this out, considering the XRP community, or rather Ripple, has been accused of being the centralized entity that controls XRP. So much for the XRP and XRPL are centralized argument. XRP Ledger Amendment goes live without Ripple's approval. So this, coincidentally, another amendment that has gone live, that went live because the votes were 27 to 34, and Ripple didn't actually give their explicit approval for this. So this is what it's stating here. The check cash makes trust line amendment will be automatically activated on the XRP Ledger today. The amendment will adjust the checks feature on the XRP Ledger and has been available for 2 years now. It works similarly to personal paper checks. The sender issues a check for a specified amount, while the recipient must redeem the check to receive the specified amount. So not so much the amendment details, but more along the lines of the fact that those running the XRP Ledger did vote in favor for this, and Ripple did not actually vote yay to this vote. Before the change became active, users had to send a separate trust set transaction before cashing a check for an issued token. So it sounds like the process is just going to make this a lot more seamless. The XRP Ledger is independent of Ripple. So, of course, they have to mention this because this is what a lot of people are critical of when it comes to Ripple and XRP. The fact that, well, I mean, they claim it's centralized. Obviously, though, this is proof that it is not. So the amendment system provides a way to introduce new functionality to the decentralized XRP Ledger network without requiring approval from a central entity such as Ripple. The system uses a decentralized consensus process in which more than 80% of the DUNL validators must show support for 2 weeks before the change can go into effect. So there you go. That's how they vote on it. Anyway, I will leave this in the description of the video if you guys want to read the rest of it. Just some interesting news here coming from the Bitcoinist and from Mark Phillips here. Wanted to thank Mark for posting that. XRP pools of liquidity. Some people still confused about this. Mikkel here posting this. Okay, from what I understand, Joel Katz said he wants XRP to be pools of liquidity for anyone to draw off of. Now, this gets clarified, okay, guys? I want to get into this because I know some people are still kind of confused about this. The more assets that are tokenized, the more value that we will have access to these XRP liquidity pools. Higher demand and value will require more liquidity and therefore a higher price for XRP. And this is Mikkel's understanding. If I'm misunderstanding something, I would love to know. And so Anders here just chiming in, correct. From reading what Bob Wade wrote, his text on market makers, I would make the argument that the more used XRPL is overall with tokenization, etc., the more demand it should, in theory, drive for XRP. And so, this has been the theory that we've kind of been going off of since then. Even though you won't have to bridge through XRP, you likely often will. So that's the thing too, right? A lot of these tokens might not need XRP, but it will be more efficient to utilize XRP, and therefore more demand will be derived for XRP. Kevin Fallon here also just retweeting out his tweet with regards to this from back a couple of days ago. Tokenization on the XRPL will affect the price. Think velocity of money. To facilitate token on the ledger, this concept will take hold. Is it enough to escalate price into 4 or 5 digits? Not necessarily, but there will be effects from significant running value over the ledger. And Common Canadian Joe down here saying, was thinking the same thing and not sure it's been covered much, but velocity of money is very key. Any transaction needing currency exchange requires the bridge XRP. If transactions are 24/7, 365 days a year, and 100 billion XRP in circulation, what percentage of value will use XRP plus simultaneous transactions frequency from all XRPL value? All very interesting questions, which are then addressed, guys, by the wrath of Kahneman, one of the great minds and thinkers in the XRP community. He says, yes, absolutely. Increased tokenization makes the XRPL more valuable and useful and could result in XRP use for liquidity. As you said elsewhere, though, it won't be a one-to-one in value and maybe exponentially less, still in effect. For liquidity, remember, there's still a sell side. So it's not as easy as a one-to-one conversion. There's a lot of factors at play here, but we're going to kind of dig into this and see what we can glean from this. Also, I guess this is obvious, but there will be a need for a demand for the tokenized asset. Other than reputation and trust, the price of XRP isn't impacted by any buy and sell unless liquidity for the tokenized asset is being sourced. So the wrath of Kahneman briefly explains it here. He took it upon himself, though, to expand on this theory and really kind of discuss it in depth, more in depth with this tweet thread here, guys. Confused by the XRP tokenization discussions? Will it affect XRP? Here's one attempt to sort some things out. So a 10-tweet thread. First, the context, okay? Talk broke out about tokenizing everything in the world, one-to-one, and it boosting XRP price about one-to-one. These involve fundamental mistakes, chief of which that assets can be tokenized by XRP or that XRP can be backed by other assets like gold. So he's talking about that old theory that many of us in the XRP community were thinking. One-to-one, think of XRP moving all the money. It didn't take into consideration a lot of the factors that, we just didn't know as much 5 years ago as we do today. So, it was a very different time in the XRP community 4 or 5 years ago. We thought the XRPL would, in fact, handle XRP in a certain way. He goes on to say the technical point is XRP doesn't tokenize. The XRPL is what does tokenize. So not XRP, guys, the XRP ledger. Likewise, as the native asset, XRP can't be backed by anything. It is worth what someone pays to use it, and there's no direct mechanism making XRP worth other tokenized assets' values. So he brings up that point later on. But tokenized assets have always been a central part of the XRPL's appeal, and it's clearly a part of Ripple's plans. Just look at the explosion of NFTs in the last year. So a great example using non-fungible tokens, stablecoin security tokens. Will tokenization of assets affect the value of XRP at all? And he just posted a Ripple's Insights blog with regards to that. And I will link this again in the description if you guys want to read further. I think the answer is yes, of course. As the XRPL becomes more useful to people, it becomes more valuable, including the native asset XRP. So that's the key, right? We have to build the value, and this has been why we keep talking about the partnerships and talking about usage and talking about who's connected with who, and if they're a Ripple partner, and sometimes it's two Ripple partners partnering up to make their process more efficient. That doesn't seem like a controversial opinion. But how much will tokens impact XRP value? That is a more difficult consideration. Seems there are 3 specific ways tokenization affects the price of XRP. Now here they are, okay? XRP can be, not must be, but can be, used to deepen the liquidity of other tokens as they trade. We also have the idea of trust, FOMO, fear of missing out, and reputation. And then finally, the very, very small transaction fees and account fees, etc. They're negligible, but they also result in the burning of XRP and securing the ledger. So of those 3, FOMO, of all things, is probably the most powerful price driver right now. Of course, in a crypto bull run, we see more people just wanting to clamor in on cryptocurrencies. And this is why I also say that once we have that Ripple SEC verdict, the FOMO is what's going to pump the price of XRP, not necessarily the utility right away. He goes on to say, so FOMO is probably the most powerful. Supplying liquidity for tokenized assets is the most interesting, though. Here's a clip, guys. Tokenizing real-world assets. This was back from November at Ripple's Swell event. Listen to this.
The real estate industry is obviously one of the most obvious spaces or industries to bring onto chain. We felt that we could use tokens to exchange value and build a better level of trust in these relationships.
From the perspective of recruiting high-value talent for something like building a gigafactory in Nevada, being able to target and cryptographically prove that someone, for example, took a specific class, got a specific grade, participated in a specific club, these have tremendous economic value.
Tremendous economic value, and this is why Ripple has always said we don't want to just focus on cross-border payments, but also continue focusing on verticals and even verticals in the future that they have not even envisaged yet. So Joel Katz, he says, he envisioned XRP offering giant pools of liquidity to more value anywhere at any time, relying on pathfinding. These tokenized assets could use XRP to move value. meaning the buy, sell, and not just the transfer. This use presumably affects XRP price. So, in Joel Katz's personal opinion, okay, this was from back in January of 21, my personal vision of XRP since 2013 or so was the idea of deep open liquidity public pools that anyone anywhere could contribute to draw off of a global market for assets that someone happens to already have exactly where someone else happens to need them to be. And this concept is not new. I mean, he's been talking about this for years now. So providing liquidity will affect XRP price. And this is why, guys, liquidity, right? We constantly need the liquidity for more demand for XRP, and more demand means higher prices. But there are a few considerations here to know about. Number one, tokens don't have to use XRP for liquidity, so we've talked about that. Tokens need to create a liquidity demand. They need to be desirable and traded, and not just tokenized large amounts. Also, the liquidity sourced through XRP need not be equal to the whole value of the asset being moved. Also, supplying liquidity with XRP creates a buy and a sell side. It's a conundrum of ODL liquidity regularly complained about. So in conclusion, tokenization of assets on the XRP ledger will affect the price of XRP, but it does not seem to be a direct linear dollar-to-dollar effect. And again, this is a very abstract concept that is continuously changing depending on use cases and depending on new development on the XRPL. It is, can we say, a flywheel effect. So again, the flywheel effect, we need to keep the ecosystem moving in order for more XRP utility to be derived from the XRP ledger. I think we've got some great insight here, though, from the Wrath of Kahneman on how the price for XRP will go up. Us XRP holders, though, we are still waiting for that demand, that FOMO demand, that will keep the XRP price high in the near term. That's one of the beauties of this cryptocurrency. We can get rich in two ways. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.